Welcome to Black Belt Beauty Radio, a podcast fueled by a passion to support your journey in developing your most beautiful and optimal performance in life. Each episode is driven with the intention to elevate your mind. When we elevate our mind, we elevate our life. So get ready. It's time to rise. Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Black Belt Beauty Radio. This solo-sode is so juicy to me. The concept that I'm going to share came from a deep moment of writing. This is something that I'm really going to elaborate on in my poetry book that will be coming out soon, Magnetic Feminine. But I actually turned it into a post. So in this episode, I'm pulling into the Instasode vibe where I'm going to read you the post and the caption. For those of you who are not yet following me on Instagram, my personal account, Roxy Look, I would love to connect with you there. Have you be a part of my community, just so you're informed. My captions are very rich. I'm a writer. So when I, create my posts there, first of all, they're very much in the moment, right? I don't set time. I don't schedule my posts. I really am feeling everything that I'm putting out there. And that's also why the captions become so rich, because I literally get put into a writing trance. And, when I'm done, I'm done. What's great about this style of an episode is that I get to take this very rich caption and then tease it out with even more space, being that we're here talking about it on the podcast. So I'm excited. This one is, I really believe, going to serve you some value, at least just plant some thought seeds that could be supportive to you on your journey into, creating your ultimate self, living from your most authentic self, and essentially kicking ass in life. All right, diving into the post. So the post itself has an image of me and it says, "Words cast spells. Your audible and inaudible speech shapes who you are and how you operate your unique life experience." So before I go into the caption, let me just talk about that for a minute. Words cast spells, right? The audible and the inaudible. We are always in conversation with ourselves, right? So it's not just what we're saying to the external, but it's so also what we are saying to the internal. And, this is where self-awareness comes in really useful. And this is why it's a big piece of the conversation with me in my coaching and my writing and my speaking. Self-awareness allows us to zoom out and to capture these conversations, these, words that we're having with ourselves. And, these words, these conversations are essentially shaping how we feel. And then that's, dictating how we're moving through life. And so I'll unpack that more now in the caption. So the caption reads as follows: "Words cast spells. When you intentionally shift your self-talk to a frequency that matches your ideal self, you literally start to shift your entire being into that ultimate version of you. How? Your self-talk directly correlates with what you believe about yourself and how you value yourself. Self-talk that is empowered, loving, valiant, encouraging, inspiring, honest, driven, respectful, and enriched with strength words is potent, creative energy that architects your self-concept/identity. Your self-identity is directly affecting the lens at which you view life and how you are showing up within it. I can validate the efficacy of this professionally as a self-mastery and empowerment coach, but that's secondary to the validation expressed here from the core of who I am. A mystical woman who thinks in deep layers through my heart's eyes. I can give you my word, which means everything to me, that if you consistently start to pay your valuable attention with loving and empowered intention to your self-talk, directing it to fuel your highest good, your entire relationship with yourself will be shifted for the better, as will your life. Realize that you are the alchemist of your life. Be the magic you want to experience in your life. Your self-talk leads the way. And then I carry on and give you a little teaser into, my poetry book that I mentioned at the top of this episode, Magnetic Feminine. But I want to dig into this now and really tease out some of the concepts. So, when you think of your self-identity, also could interchangeable self-concept, right? So this is how you feel about you, your view on you. How you feel about you is literally shaping your reality because it's how you are engaging and interacting with life, right? So where self-talk comes in very potently and powerfully is, if you're walking around and your self-talk is not empowering you, it's, keeping you down, it's having you play small, it's rejecting you, it's not making you feel good. I mean, your self-concept or self-identity is not going to be empowered. It's going to be, just a lower version of you, right? But on the contrary, if your self-talk is encouraging, if it's empowering, if it's loving, if it's, bold and brave and, positioning you in ways where, you're going to be going for it in life. You walk around and you face life directly with your eyes, head on, and you're creating forward with a completely different frequency, right? So it's so important to realize, number one, that you have the power, right? That's why, it's my fun, poetic way of saying, when I say words cast spell, you are an alchemist. You are literally, in this, you call it game of life, kitchen of life, like whatever you want to call it, but you're the one mixing your recipes, the ultimate recipe being you. And then this, creation that is you is creating your life. And that's something so important to bring in, to play here is it's so important to realize that your life isn't shaping you, that you're shaping your life. This is why my work, everything I talk about, everything I write about, everything I'm so passionate about speaking on is, always pointing back to you, my guided journal book. You are the path. It's all about you. Your work, your relationships, your finances, that doesn't make you who you are. You make those things happen. It's interesting because it's complex, but it's very simple. If we focus more on this being that we are and the creation of our being, we're doing it in a way that is empowering us, that's serving us, right? That's elevating us, that's expanding us in the direction that we want to be moving in. All those things that you want to create, to experience in your life, they're going to be byproducts, right? Because it's you. You call in those things. You create those experiences in your life. Self-talk is really a powerful player here. It's like the MVP, really, because again, like if you, and especially the self-talk where you don't realize, you're actually in conversation with yourself. Like it's just the backdrop conversation that's going on the whole time. You need to be able to capture this. And how do you do that? Well, right now, check in, like on the norm, like baseline. How do you feel about yourself? Do you feel strong? Do you feel connected? Do you feel love for yourself? Do you feel moments of pride? Do you feel brave? Do you feel accomplished? Or do you feel, tired? Do you feel less than? Do you feel rejected? Do you feel like, the world is against you? I mean, it's actually hard for me to even come up with this list talking to my community because I know my community. I'm not saying, any of us are immune to feeling any of those feelings. Like we all feel them, but I know that the dominant kind of baseline to my community, who's been with me for a while, you are going to be living more in that empowered self-talk and that feeling. However, I don't want to assume ever. I just want to be very clear and thorough here to say, wherever you're living, whatever side you're living on, you know what side you want to be on. And what I'm offering you here is this. Pay attention to your self-talk. It keeps you in the driver's seat of your life. It keeps you in, a very, obviously the self-talk needs to be, fused this way, but it can keep you into a state of confidence, into a state of real self-love, self-compassion, a state of motivation, elevation, encouragement, reverence, right? You want to have respect for yourself. That's huge. Respect and love go hand in hand, right? It's like almost low-hanging fruit because it doesn't cost you anything. You don't have to go out and, take a class on how to, have this kind of conversation with yourself. I'm also not trying to, disregard anybody who might be having specific challenges in areas like this right now. I am saying this, whatever your challenges are, this self-talk piece, this kind of free, low-hanging fruit that is available to you is absolutely worth just thinking about at the very least. And then starting to, here's something that could be really useful. If you're in a place right now where your self-talk is actually low, let's just say it's low, and things aren't feeling good, and it's really hard for you to cultivate, some kind of self-talk, even a sentence or an affirmation that is elevating, that is, encouraging, or anything of this kind of higher frequency. I want you to just think about this. Write out whatever you feels honest. Things are hard for me right now, and I don't know what to do about it. I'm creating, this is, an example. Don't stop there. When you think you're done, I want you to take a moment and go, well, how can I shift upwards from here? Things are really hard for me. I don't know what to do about it, but I know I'm getting closer to finding the way. But I know that this is temporary. But I know that, I will figure it out. But I know that I have support, where I need it. And it's just a matter of time. Always find a way to end on an upper frequency, right? So hopefully that's just a very, it's a small tactic, but it's a very, very effective and powerful tactic. And this is for anybody. So if you're high flying right now and you're kicking ass, great. You're going to find yourself in a position at some point where you're going to feel down in that frequency, and, some kind of self-talk or thought pattern is, putting you in that lower frequency state. Just remember what I said. Don't stop there. Even if it's the smallest bit of light, just like to add on to the end of that sentence or that thought, give yourself that, because that little bit will start to build. And when you start to do this more frequently, you are creating a really powerful habit that will become your norm. And all of a sudden, even in those moments where you are really, really having a hard time, and maybe you are in kind of more of a negative state, you've been through some hard shit in life, like this happens, but you now have that, it's your go-to to always turn up the frequency and not stop at the end of something that feels really down, heavy, and negative, right? So kind of pulling this all together to wrap us out here, I just want to put emphasis, you guys, that words cast spells. You are the alchemist of your life. You are the ultimate creator of your life. And you creating your life starts with you creating yourself. Everything that you're experiencing, this is just my opinion, do what you want with it, but everything that you're experiencing in your life is ultimately a reflection of how you feel about yourself, because you're projecting that outwards in energy. So this is a really great moment to invite you to just pause right now and check in and feel into your self-talk, the audible and the inaudible, as a norm. Like, how are you feeling about it, right? And this is so important to say. I say it all the time. I have to keep saying it. Please don't judge yourself. Cannot be learning and judging at the same time, right? You're just investigating because you want the information that's going to allow you, it's going to give you the information that you need to make the growth, to do what is necessary to position you in the areas and the ways that you want to be positioned in, right? Like to keep you elevating in your life, expanding the way that you want to be expanding. So, yeah, it's a fun play on words. Words cast spells. And I actually think that also makes such a difference, because when you can have fun with words like this, you can really feel into them and into the concept. When you can feel into concepts, you can actually, keep them. You can retain them. And when you can retain the information, that's where application comes in. And if you're not putting things into action, then it's just whatever, it's shit on a shelf, right? We need to move into action. So words cast spells. You are the alchemist, the ultimate creator of your life. Check in with yourself as a constant. Make sure that your self-talk is feeling good, empowered, is honest. Don't stop at the end of a low vibe, negative frequency thought or, sentence, if you find yourself in that moment, give yourself even just a little bit at the end of that, an up level of frequency, and let that become your habit so that your self-talk is always in your corner. It's you being on your team. So if this resonated, if it supported you in any way, please connect with me and let me know. Best place to do that, Roxy Look on Instagram. Hit me in the DMs, put it in the comments, whichever way you feel comfortable to connect with me. I'm here for all of it. And I love, love, love carrying these conversations forward, expanding deeper with you. So thank you so much. And I will catch you on the next one. Thanks so much for tuning into this episode, you guys. If you loved it, please share it on your social. Throw it up on your Instagram stories and tag me. I'm at Black Belt Beauty. I am also at Roxy Look, RoxyLook. I love connecting with you guys. This is a conversation that I want to just continue growing with you guys. So if you feel inspired to hit me up, do so in that space. I always enjoy hearing from you. If you'd like to support this podcast, you can do so by rating it and reviewing it via iTunes. It's such supportive help, you guys. It really helps the visibility of this podcast. So I appreciate and thank you in advance for doing that. And on that note, you guys, I'm signing off with all my love and always looking forward to catching you on the next.